He says though that her eyes fail another beauty standard. Our man Shafee says that the edge of Zendaya's jaw is manly. Are fair pearls on their own with the view that Zendaya's jaw has a soft and rounded outline rather than a sharp or pointy one? Isn't the very angular shape to Zendaya's jaw precisely what makes her stand out? Fair Pearls' view that the shape and proportions of Zendaya's face give her a particularly youthful look is clearly shared by Hollywood filmmakers.
Thus, it's no mistake that Zendaya is cast into youthful roles, from playing high schooler MJ in the Spider-Man universe to a high schooler in 2017 Zapped.
Meanwhile, the very compact size of Zendaya's face comes, as you can probably tell, A, from her having a rather small and rather narrow forehead, and B, from her having a rather short and wide middle third that section from the bottom of the eyes to the base of the nostrils. If I understand Fair Pearls correctly, they deem Zendaya's middle third to be amongst her most beautiful facial features. So now, is it our man Shafee from Qoves Studio who's on his own with the view that while the shape and proportions of Zendaya's face certainly make her look younger, they also make her look dishonest?
She has a wide and short face with a very high facial width to height ratio at 2.16. While this can be associated with decreased perceptions of trustworthiness or being more dishonest,
masculine and aggressive,
having a high facial width to height ratio, so having a very short and wide face, does make the face appear more aggressive, dominant, masculinizing, but also less trustworthy and more aggressive looking,
as well as intimidating.
This face shape and essentially the facial width to height ratio is exactly why Zendaya has an intimidating look, where she can look like a character that will speak her mind and is not going to be a save me damsel in distress type.
Fair Pearls, along with Hollywood casting agents, certainly doesn't share those views, and I don't think many other people would either. Our man Shafee says that the edge of Zendaya's jaw, known as the gonial angle, is manly.
Zendaya has a masculine gonial angle, or a jaw angle, at 121 degrees.
Fair Pearls doesn't actually comment on that element of Zendaya's face, but I'd say that Zendaya's gonial angle is slightly below the size that meets general Western beauty standards, as is Thandie Newton's, say. Thandie and Zendaya both having a very compact jawline compared to, say, Ariana Grande and Kate Middleton. Ariana and Kate are two ladies whose gonial angle matches the proportions required by Western beauty ideals, as far as I'm aware. But in any case, I honestly can't see anyone remarking on seeing either Thandie or Zendaya in profile, or from any other angle, that they appear in some way masculine, compact jawline or not. Furthermore, to me, neither Thandie's nor Zendaya's jawline detracts in any way from their respective beauty. In case you don't know, I'm Gina. If you're enjoying this video, do give it a like and do subscribe to my channel. Having a positive canthal tilt basically means having something of an upward slant to your eyes. Face Pearls reports that what makes a positive canthal tilt so attractive in women, as in Zendaya's own case, is the youthful and highly alluring cat-like look that it gives the face. And what in turn characterises a positive canthal tilt as youthful and alluring is, quote, the fact that the palpebral fissure is steeper in children than in adults makes it a neonatal feature, and the fact that it is steeper again in females than in males after puberty makes it a sexually dimorphic feature. Those of us who weren't lucky enough to have been born with a positive canthal tilt can get canthoplasty surgery, also known as fox eye surgery or cat eye surgery, just like supermodels Bella Hadid and Kendall Jenner are both believed to have done, and just like Camilla Bell, Katie Holmes and Helen Hunt, who all have a negative canthal tilt, which means that their lower eyelids are slightly droopy while their outer eye corners are slightly downturned, haven't. Marilyn Monroe, meanwhile, traded her positive canthal tilt for a negative one by means of an upper eyelid lift, also known as upper blepharoplasty.
And she had a slightly positive canthal tilt. See how the line from the inner corner to the outer corner of the eye forms a positive angle. Then her eyes took on a downturned shape. This happens because after the surgery, the canthal tilt, which was positive, became negative. See how the line from the inner corner to the outer corner of the eye forms a negative angle.
I am under the impression that the change to the shape of Marilyn's eyes caused by her eyelid lift was in fact accidental. Curiously enough though, experts say that after her eyelid surgery, Marilyn always used to wear her eye makeup in such a way as to accentuate the outer corners of her eyes, and that when posing for pictures, she would often deliberately semi-shut her eyes, again in order to highlight her outer eye corners. Marilyn made her downward sloping, semi-closed eye look a feature of beauty and sultriness. Shafee, for his part, doesn't actually mention Zendaya's canthal tilt. He does report, however, that her eyes, in combination with her eyebrows, meet one beauty standard.
What they concluded was high bending eyebrows with small eyes and a round face, low bending eyebrows with large eyes and a longer face will make the facial image have higher attractiveness scores. Zendaya leans more to the first example with a high bending eyebrow with smaller almond shaped eyes or cat shaped eyes and a round wide face as opposed to an elongated one.
He says though that her eyes fail another beauty standard, but that doesn't matter.
And another test is that eyes should be about one eye width apart. Her eyes are not perfect in that respect, but they are still very much harmonious.
As in Zendaya's case, Meghan Markle's own eyes could be considered too close together. And to me personally, that actually does spoil her face somewhat. And according to at least one cosmetic surgeon, that is hardly where Meghan Markle's facial flaws end. Shafee says that from the front, Zendaya's nose is unobtrusive.
And her nose also maintains a harmonious ratio relative to her mouth. The mouth should be a bit wider than the nose.
Before she had her nose job, which narrowed her nose, Zendaya's nose did spoil her face slightly. To fair pearls, it still actually does. They say it's the least strong point of her face. I think they mean it's the least attractive point of her face, and I think their reason is that it's still slightly too wide. I personally agree with that. As for Zendaya's lower facial third, the area from philtrum down to the chin, Zahyr and Fair Pearls actually agree. Zendaya's lower facial third is beautiful.
The mouth width should be wide enough to make contact with the inner part of the pupils. In other words, the oral commissures should be in between the medial end of the iris.
Shafee and Fair Pearls also both indicate Zendaya's vast facial symmetry. The more symmetrical a face, the more beautiful a face.
Instead of touching on her skin quality or symmetry, which are more blatant and universal health genetic markers,
if you've enjoyed this video, I recommend you to watch this one next. I'll meet you there.